My boyfriend was obsessed with fishing. One day, he caught a huge, vibrant red fish. That night, he hugged the fish tightly, unable to sleep a wink. I took a photo of him with the fish and posted it online to complain. Unexpectedly, I started receiving a barrage of messages. The fish exchanges lives. Your boyfriend is using it as a soul-swapping tool. Get rid of that fish immediately. My boyfriend, Daniel, was an avid fisherman. Today, he brought home a massive fish, looking like it weighed at least 15 kilograms. He gleefully placed it in the new fish tank he'd prepared long ago, bragging that it was the tank's first inhabitant and he'd surely take good care of it. I, however, wasn't happy at all. Seeing my sour face, Daniel pulled out a small cake and said, "This is a special treat I bought for you. Please don't be angry anymore. We often argued about his fishing. It wasn't that I hated his hobby, but it had become an obsession. He was sinking deeper and deeper into it, neglecting his health and career, even becoming more irritable. That evening, I decided I would have a serious talk with him. After all, we were getting married soon. We couldn't continue like this." But that night, Daniel just stared at the fish tank, unmoving. No matter how many times I called him, he didn't respond. His eyes were wide open, unblinking, his face expressionless, sending chills down my spine. I instinctively glanced at the fish tank, and the sight sent shivers through me. I could almost see the fish's pupils rotating. It was staring at me, a cold dread creeping up my back, raising goosebumps on my skin. Daniel showed no other strange reaction. I thought perhaps I was just too tired from burying myself in work these past few days, so I tried to reassure myself, told him to sleep early, and went back to my room. The next morning, I woke up to find Daniel still sitting on the sofa, in the exact same position as last night, continuing to stare at the fish tank. "Did you stay up all night?" Daniel only let out a soft saying nothing more. I couldn't take it anymore. I snapped a picture and posted it online to vent. My boyfriend just stares at the fish tank all night. I don't know what to do with him anymore. He might as well marry the fish. He used to go out every day with all his fishing gear, and I put up with it. But now, even a fish can keep him awake all night. Do I even exist in his eyes anymore? I smugly read through the comments. Many girls complained about their boyfriends being addicted to games, neglecting them. But among the flood of comments, a few sentences made my heart jump. "This fish cannot be kept. This is a life-swapping fish. Your boyfriend is using it as a soul-swapping tool." I froze. What nonsense! Others also refuted. Watch too many detective movies? What's a life-swapping fish? Why not say the fish eats people too? I've been fishing for over a decade and have never heard such ridiculous stories. Some even swore at me, saying I'd encountered a fool. I didn't pay much attention, just dismissed it as a joke. But immediately afterward, a series of private messages flooded my inbox. "I'm not lying to you. That fish truly cannot be kept in the house. At a certain moment, your boyfriend will lose his life. If you don't believe me, observe if his eyes have dark circles. And he won't eat human food anymore. Normal dishes won't interest him." Hell, if you don't believe me, just observe carefully. I felt a pang of fear. Although I thought it was all absurd, out of worry for Daniel, I still cautiously approached him to check. The first glance horrified me. Daniel's eyes indeed had dark circles, and he looked noticeably weaker. The moment he looked up, I had a feeling the fish behind him was also watching me. I suppressed the unease in my heart and gently asked, "What do you want for breakfast?" "I'll make it for you." Daniel just shook his head slightly, as if something heavy was pressing on his neck, preventing him from moving freely. He told me, "I don't have an appetite. You eat." My heart sank. Could this fish really be a life-swapping fish, as that person said? Although the fish looked somewhat bizarre, with a round, short, and fatter body than other fish, its entire body was bright red, distinct from the usual red of goldfish. The shade of red. On this fish gave off a creepy feeling. I looked at it, and right then, I saw the fish's eyes rotate 360 degrees. Panicked, I ran back to my room and immediately messaged that person. "Hello, it seems things are happening just as you said. Can you explain more about what a life-swapping fish is?" I nervously awaited a reply, even searching online for information, but found nothing about this kind of fish. Only mysterious horror stories that made me even more anxious. Finally, after a long while, I received a reply. I looked through ancient books in my home. A life-swapping fish, when it matures, will have a red body. Depending on the gender of the person whose life is being swapped, it will manifest differently. On the 7th day, it will complete its life-swapping task. Currently, it has chosen your boyfriend. Within the next 3 days, at midnight, the fish will emit a red light. You two must release it back into the river before that happens. It absolutely must be during the day, never at night. I wondered, wouldn't releasing it into the river harm others? That person replied, the moment the fish bit the hook, it already chose to swap lives. If it doesn't succeed after 7 days, it will disappear on its own. My ancestors once studied darkmagic and had records of this type of life-swapping fish. This is an extremely evil sorcery. The person performing the ritual will also suffer a backlash. Their body will slowly rot. By the time of the life swap, the caster will decay and die. This is 2 lives for 1 ritual, so even in ancient times, very few dared to use it because the price was too high. I wanted to ask more, but the person said the book was too old. Some parts were obscure, and they had to wait a few more days for their elders to return home to ask for more clarification. But one thing is certain, absolutely do not let the fish appear in your sights. Just release it before it completes the ritual, and all of Daniel's symptoms will automatically disappear. I was skeptical, yet believed. The fish was truly too bizarre, giving me chills. Anyway, today was already the 2nd day. By tomorrow, at the latest, I absolutely had to find a way to get rid of it. The next day, when I woke up, Daniel was still sitting on the sofa, expressionlessly staring at the fish in the tank. I didn't hide anything anymore, and told Daniel directly to get rid of the fish, quickly. Daniel just gave a faint smile and said, "I'm a grown man, squabbling with a fish. You don't believe him." It wasn't until I threatened to break up if he didn't deal with the fish that he hesitated. It's just a fish. Do you really need to get so angry? If you don't like it, we won't keep it anymore, that's all. Even though it was just a fish, it truly made me feel uneasy. When Daniel was about to take the fish outside, I also planned to buy some groceries to cook for him. According to my online friend, Daniel would regain his appetite tonight. However, when I returned home with bags in hand, I froze. The fish was still in the tank. And what's more, it was looking at me with the eyes of a victor. I screamed in panic, but when I looked again, the fish was simply swimming in the tank, eating its food as usual. No way! How can a fish have human expressions? It's too terrifying. You're back. Lily, let me tell you, this fish is truly strange. You won't believe what happened today. Daniel excitedly recounted, "Look at this fish. Does it recognize our home or something? Today, I couldn't get it to leave no matter what. It was like it was stuck to the bucket. I had no other choice but to bring it back." Hearing this, I burst into tears. I had no appetite left. Night was falling. I quickly turned off the lights, pulled Daniel into the bedroom, and stealthily observed the living room through the crack in the door. Daniel didn't understand, but seeing how tense I was, he followed along. My phone vibrated continuously with private messages, but I was in no mood to check them. At this moment, my heart was pounding as if it wanted to leap out of my chest. I trembled, waiting all night, until my eyes were burning. But I saw no red light from the fish, as the person had described. Could I have been mistaken? I thought to myself. At this moment, Daniel finally spoke. "What are you doing?" I told him everything that had happened over the past 2 days, along with the messages from my online friend. Daniel burst out laughing, turned on the lights, and mocked me. "You believe such nonsense?" "Look, I'm fine. What's that?" "It's just an online friend. Probably someone who likes to gossip and make up stories to scare people. I just didn't sleep well that day. That's why I had no appetite. And don't you see? When you weren't looking, I slept perfectly well. I just woke up earlier than you. What are you even thinking? And besides, according to that person, the fish was supposed to glow red, right? Now look at it. There's nothing wrong with it. Stop browsing those random posts. You've probably read too many horror novels and just like to scare others. There are so many idle people nowadays, making up stories to attract attention and satisfy their own vanity. At this moment, my tense nerves finally relaxed. But I still feel like that fish is staring at me, and its eyes can even rotate. A moment ago, my heart felt like it would jump out of my chest. If the fish had truly glowed red, I dared not imagine what I would become if I lost Daniel. What kind of fish can rotate its eyes like that? You must be too stressed lately. I'll go cook you something nourishing to restore your energy. I opened my phone and saw that my online friend had sent me a barrage of messages. "Have you dealt with the fish yet? Is it true, as I said, that your boyfriend has returned to eating normally? Oh, even though there are no more problems, remember to go to the temple in a few days and burn 3 incense sticks." Seeing that I hadn't replied, that person sent a series of question marks. At this moment, my mind was still reeling from the fright. I felt extremely angry, thinking someone was making up stories to scare people, just for entertainment. Thinking this, I couldn't help but retort, "Stop lying to people. Do you find this fun? The fish is still here. Nothing happened, and it didn't glow red or anything. Stop scaring people." The other side typed for a long time, but sent no message. I threw my phone aside, not bothering to explain further. About 15 minutes later, I continued to receive messages from that person, who even called me. I reluctantly opened the message, only to see one sentence. I know now. Perhaps we were wrong from the start. After that was a notification that the other party was typing. I thought he probably didn't know what lie to make up next, but right then, a photo related to the life-swapping fish was sent. Half of the photo was obscured. He then sent another line of text that sent a chill down my spine. Oh, the one whose life is being swapped from the start isn't your boyfriend, but you. Life-swapping fish manifest differently depending on the chosen target. I thought the fish was caught by your boyfriend. When I saw him first, I naturally assumed he was the one being swapped. That prejudiced thinking led me to a mistake. Looking at it this way, the one whose life is being swapped is definitely you. No way. Way? I never touched that fish. While I was still thinking he was just talking nonsense, he continued to send messages. If you are the one whose life is being swapped, then the moment the fish was caught, it would have released a fish pearl, and you would have swallowed it. Remember carefully what you ate on the day the fish was brought home. Messages kept coming, and I couldn't keep up. But when I recalled that day, I hadn't gone out at all. The only thing I had touched was the cream cake Daniel brought home. My heart pounded erratically, because at that moment, I really did feel something soft in the mango filling. I didn't pay much attention, just thought the bakery had added some special ingredient. This is too logical. If what he says is true, I must have swallowed the fish pearl. Unless your boyfriend has a problem. Perhaps he cast the life-swapping spell himself. You two must leave immediately. The fish cannot see you. Cold sweat drenched my back. Daniel brought food into the room. Seeing my unusual state, he asked, "What's wrong, Lily?" My gut instinct told me that what the person said was false, but my reason couldn't help but suspect Daniel, until the unbelievable things actually happened. On the fourth day since the fish came home, at 1 a.m., I suddenly heard a thud in the living room, like something falling from the fish tank onto the floor. I startled awake, remembering the person's warning, and gently nudged Daniel beside me. He didn't wake up. Normally, Daniel was a light sleeper. Even a small sound would wake him. But today, he was sleeping unusually soundly. Something's wrong. Before I could think further, I heard a strange sound that gave me goosebumps. It sounded like something was crawling on the ground, and it was getting closer and closer. I didn't dare breathe loudly. Our room was arranged so that if I leaned over, I could see the tightly closed door. Very quickly, I saw a dark shadow crawling into the room. I held my breath, not daring to move, just pretending to be asleep and unaware. It wasn't until the sound disappeared that I cautiously opened my eyes. And the sight before me made my heart stop. A fish was on the bed, just a few centimeters from me. It opened its mouth wide, and a bright red, viscous liquid oozed out. I was utterly terrified, trying my best to push Daniel awake. But he still didn't react. If I hadn't seen him breathing, I would have thought he was dead. The red fish's eyes rotated. Its round, short body became slender and elongated, then wrapped tightly around my neck. I could feel its strength tightening more and more. I struggled trying to grasp its body, but it was no use. Its body was slippery. With just a little force, it would slide from my hand. Then it squeezed even harder and quickly broke my neck. Very quickly, I felt my eyes bloodshot, my vision gradually blurred. My throat ached intensely. my mouth filled with the metallic taste of blood. I was dying, killed by a fish. A colossal fear overwhelmed me. I passed out. Lily, you're awake. Don't scare me. I was shaken awake by Daniel. He looked full of worry, only letting out a sigh of relief when he saw me open my eyes. I saw the worry in his eyes, both of them red-rimmed, and I threw myself into his arms. Daniel's familiar breath and scent made me feel safer. Daniel, I'm not dead. Daniel, that fish, it killed me. It jumped onto the bed with me. It shrank. It elongated. It strangled my neck. I spoke, tears welling up. What's wrong with you? I kept shaking you, but you just kept sleeping. I choked out. So you're not dead either? Did it kill you too? Daniel gently tapped my forehead. How can a fish kill someone? You were just dreaming. I saw you sweating all over, clutching your neck, so I hurried to wake you up. If you don't believe me, go see. The fish is still safely in the tank. How could a fish jump out? Really? The feeling of being on the brink of death last night couldn't have been fake. I was still trembling as I raised my hand to my face, trying to reassure myself that it was all just a dream. But right then, I saw some shimmering fragments under my fingernails. They were clearly fish scales. Daniel was lying. I didn't know why he was lying to me. Could all of this be part of his plan? I didn't dare ask anything more. It wasn't until my stomach growled that Daniel stood up and said he would go cook something for me. While he wasn't there, I quickly grabbed my phone and messaged my online friend. Last night I was almost strangled to death by that fish. After a long while, I received a reply. Damn, that fish really wants to take your life. My friend said that the longest period for life swap was 7 days, and today was only the 4th day. So I still had plenty of time. He had only read about this dark magic in documents and had no ability to dispel it. He told me to find an experienced sorcerer and absolutely deal with the fish before the 7th day. During that time, I must never appear in front of it. That way you can delay it a bit. Try to drag out the time until the 7th day. If you can find the fish pearl and destroy it, you can escape this calamity. At this moment, Daniel called me out to eat. I was startled to realize that serious lesions had appeared on his hands. Lately, Daniel had always worn long-sleeved shirts, and I only noticed this today. My feet felt nailed to the ground. I couldn't move towards him. What happened to your hands? Daniel casually replied. Oh, this. I accidentally burned myself before, and now it's starting to ulcerate. I was afraid you'd worry, so I didn't say anything. It's nothing big. It will heal on its own. Don't worry. I didn't dare make him suspicious, only pretended that I was too scared by my nightmares and wanted to stay at the hotel for a few days. Daniel hesitated a bit, but then agreed immediately. In the afternoon, while Daniel was out, I called my mother. Mom, I remember you have a friend who knows a bit about magic, right? At this point, only you can save me. Oh, you mean Aunt Mai? She's with me right now. We've been traveling these past few days, and we'll fly back tomorrow. We should be home in a few more days. Mom, I have an urgent matter. Aunt Mai is very knowledgeable. Can you help me ask her something? I briefly recounted the events to my mother, only saying that Daniel caught a fish, and someone said it was a life-swapping fish. Asking if Aunt Mai knew about this dark magic. My mother said something, and then handed the phone to Aunt May. Soon, Aunt Mai took the call, her voice extremely serious. What day is it today? The 4th day. Child, I will return immediately. Before I arrive, do not lose that fish again. Also, take some yellow paper, burn it to ashes, and apply it to your neck when you sleep. It will protect you. And don't leave the house for too long out of fear. If you go out for too long, the fish will get angry and it might kill you immediately. But my online friend had warned me to stay out of the fish's sight. My mind felt increasingly confused. Between the two people, I decided to trust Aunt May. Perhaps what my friend read in the book was still incomplete. After a few more instructions, my mother took the phone back and scolded me. Lily, that Daniel, blah blah blah. You can't blah blah blah. The signal was bad, but I understood what my mother was trying to say. She was blaming me for spoiling Daniel too much, letting him catch such strange fish. After hanging up, I rummaged through the house to find the fish pearl my online friend mentioned, but found nothing. I dared not believe Daniel truly wanted to harm me. Why would he do that? While searching for the fish pearl, I discovered some leftover yellow paper in the house. Perhaps it was remnants from burning paper offerings to ancestors. I found it strange because no one in the house had needed these things recently. I took the yellow paper, put it in an iron pot, burned it to ashes, and hid the ashes in the cabinet under the sink in the bathroom. Then I continued. Finally, I found an exquisite box. I joyfully opened it, but inside was not the fish pearl, but several photos. In the photos was Daniel, and next to him was a girl I had never met. But in a fleeting glance I knew who she was. I had heard Daniel mention this girl. She was his first love. I looked at each photo and gradually understood the reason Daniel wanted to harm me. I didn't believe I was mistaken. Daniel and I had been together for a long time. He was a gentle and considerate person, always willing to help those in need, always hardworking and ambitious. We had never argued, and we were even engaged. Everything only changed when he became obsessed with fishing. I had heard Daniel talk about his first love. She was also a gentle and lovely girl. Coincidentally, we even shared the same birthday. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but feel scared. Could it be that because she died, Daniel chose my body as a vessel for a life swap? If so, Daniel was truly terrified. He concealed himself too perfectly, even finding every way to make me die. Before I could think it through, I heard the door open. Daniel had returned. I pretended to calmly continue browsing my phone. Lily, I've reconsidered. We should still stay home. Just now, when I went out, I saw a crowd gathered at the nearby hotel. The police were there too. It seemed like a murder case. It's not safe at all. Even he didn't believe this lie, but I still agreed. After all, I was looking for a way to explain to him why I wasn't going to the hotel anymore. This suited me perfectly. I followed Aunt Mai's advice, secretly applying the paper ashes to my neck at night when Daniel was asleep. Thanks to this, I safely passed 2 nights, and soon it was the 6th day since the fish was brought home. I called my mother again, but she said the flight was delayed and would be quite late. Even so, my mother affirmed that she would arrive in time on the 7th day and warned me absolutely not to leave the house, not to leave the fish's sight. Time passed quickly, and the 7th day was approaching. I received a message from my online friend. He said that I absolutely had to leave the house, otherwise I would know what would happen next. Have you left the house yet? My elder said that if one's life is being swapped, the final moments will undoubtedly be extremely tragic. You just need to survive until midnight tomorrow night. Everything will end. I lied, saying I had left the fish, that I was safe, and quietly turned off my phone. Before sleeping, I still applied the paper ashes to my neck. And so, I finally entered the 7th day. Early in the morning, Daniel was already up, busy doing something. I opened my phone and saw a message from my mother. She said she would arrive at noon today. That made me feel much more at ease. But as noon approached, Daniel seemed unable to sit still anymore. He told me to go out with him, saying that my spirits had been too tense these past few days, even talking in my sleep, so he wanted to take me out for a walk. I refused. I feel a bit tired. Perhaps I didn't sleep well last night. Today, I want to rest at home for a bit. Tomorrow, we can go out. I looked at Daniel in front of me and suddenly saw his eyes rotate 360 degrees, exactly like the fish's. I tried to suppress my fear, not daring to show any abnormal expression. Daniel seemed not to notice my strangeness, still smiling and continuing to persuade me to go out. I looked at him, suddenly feeling utterly alienated. In his eyes, there was a compulsion that I couldn't refuse. If I didn't go, he would surely act immediately. I tried to hold back tears, with only the image of him protecting me in my mind. But now, I didn't even know who his true self was. Daniel, Mom is coming today. Let me call and see where she is. It would be strange if Mom arrived and no one was home. Seeing that he didn't object, I quickly dialed but found there was no signal. I was thinking of another way to refuse. Just then, Daniel suddenly pulled me to the fish tank. I looked straight into the fish's eyes and realized I had fallen into a trap. The fish became extremely agitated, seemingly wanting to jump out of the water, continuously thrashing its tail with excitement. Daniel, why are you suddenly making me look at the fish? I asked tremblingly. Only hoping Aunt Mai would arrive quickly. Have you already guessed? Daniel's cold voice echoed in my ear. Before I could say another word, he violently threw me to the ground. Lily, why are you living so long? You should have died already. Why isn't it you who's dead? Daniel fiercely tightened his grip on my neck, his eyes filled with murderous intent. His body pressed me tightly against the floor. The piercing pain in my neck made my mind go numb. He felt it wasn't enough, so he grabbed my hair, repeatedly slamming my head against the floor. Before I fell unconscious, he even violently pulled my ankle, dragging me across the floor. Just wait until tonight, and it will be over. This is your fate. You should feel lucky that your life still has some value. Otherwise, you would have died long ago. I refuse to accept this. Why? If Daniel truly wanted to use my life to swap for his ex-girlfriend's, why couldn't he just imprison me? keep me alive until needed. Then, what were his gentle actions before? Suddenly, his movement stopped, and his eyes changed, as if for a moment he hesitated, not wanting to kill me. But immediately after, his eyes became savage again. Just a little longer, and you won't exist anymore. As he finished speaking, his mouth suddenly tore open all the way to his neck, dark red liquid dripping onto the floor. He repeatedly slammed his head against the ground, feeling bored, then took a needle and pierced his fingertip. He was waiting until midnight. In my struggles, I saw the beaded bracelet he had given me. I still remembered that day. He said he would protect me, never let me suffer even a little harm. But now, he was screaming for me to die quickly. When I was too exhausted to move, he finally let go of me. Wait, it's not midnight yet. Blood from all over my body seeped out in patches. I felt time slowly passing, second by second, minute by minute. The fish in the tank finally jumped out. My heart sank to the bottom. I lay on the floor watching it crawl inch by inch, its slippery body rubbing against the floor, emitting a strange hissing sound. It stopped right in front of me, opening its mouth wide enough to swallow my entire head. I saw sharp, long teeth growing inside its mouth at a terrifying speed, making my scalp tingle. Then, its body gradually elongated and narrowed. But this time, it didn't wrap around my neck. It coiled around my waist, circle after circle. Then it stared at me, its bloody mouth agape, waiting for the right moment to act. As the life-swapping fish's eyes became increasingly filled with anticipation, I knew the moment it had been waiting for had arrived. It looked at me greedily, its body writhing more and more violently, causing me sharp pain. Daniel's face was also twisted and distorted as he looked at me. The excitement on his face was no different from that fish. I tried to grab anything I could and throw it straight at the fish, but it was all useless. At this moment, my phone vibrated. It was my mother calling. I quickly turned on the speaker, slipped the phone under my back, trying to call for help before he snatched it away. From the other end of the line, my mother's voice was full of worry. Lily, what have you been doing all day that I couldn't reach you? Aren't you at home? We've arrived, but we don't see you anywhere. Where are you? I'm not home. I looked around. Everything was familiar, yet it felt like it wasn't. Also, I meant to tell you yesterday, Daniel, he's gone, isn't he? He died half a year ago. An ominous feeling surged in my heart. The air around Daniel suddenly turned icy cold. He tilted his head, a faint smile on his lips. Oh, I've been discovered. As soon as the words left his mouth, Daniel's face gradually blurred, replaced by the face of his mother, Mrs. Davis. As her face appeared, a strong stench of decay filled the air. She smiled demonically, intending to push my head into the fish's mouth. Ah, I can't escape. The fish wrapped tightly around me, while Mrs. Davis held my arm firmly. Aunt May, help me. I'm really at home, I screamed. But Mrs. Davis's resolute expression made my heart sink. Zonyo, you still have to die. But just then, the fish refused to swallow me. Mrs. Davis's eyes were filled with dissatisfaction. Don't try to protect her anymore. Haven't you protected her enough? You died for her, yet she lives well, not even remembering you. It's okay, my son. An ungrateful woman like her is unnecessary. I'll find you someone better. The smile on her face became increasingly distorted and demonic. At this moment, I suddenly remembered everything. How could I forget that the person I loved most, Daniel, was dead? He died protecting me. Half a year ago, he proposed to me and took me hiking. Because I loved outdoor activities, he chose the highest peak to tell me he would love me forever. But that day, the sunny sky suddenly poured rain. I slipped, unable to hold on to anything. Daniel didn't hesitate, using his body as a cushion for me. Daniel did. He died at the moment I loved him most. I had forgotten. Unnamed, I thought he had always been with me. My heart now felt like it was thrown into boiling oil, burning with agony. I hadn't even had time to escape the pain of losing my loved one when the fish's large mouth lunged towards me. My head had already touched its sharp teeth, but my hands were tightly bound. Unable to lift, intense pain struck, leaving me only to struggle, frantically hitting the floor with my hand. Suddenly, the fish stopped, releasing my head from its mouth. A gentle breeze passed, carrying something away. The beaded bracelet on my wrist had broken. Mrs. Davis slumped to the ground, muttering like a lost soul. Just then, my mother and Aunt May rushed into the house. I told you, there must be some dark magic. I looked around my house. It was still my home, but it was no longer the same. The furniture Daniel and I chose together had vanished. The decorations we both bought were gone, and even the water glasses we often used had disappeared into thin air. Aunt May poured a kind of powder onto the giant fish. It let out screams of pain and slowly loosened its grip around my waist and arms. It even gave her that bracelet. Ha ha ha, I just wanted to revive him, yet he chose to die on his own. From Mrs. Davis's words, I realized that she had spent a long time preparing to swap lives for me. The person who claimed to be my online friend was also her in disguise. She wanted me to die in fear, to vent her anger. However, on the fourth day, when she intended to strangle me to death, Daniel's soul unexpectedly appeared. He tried to control her body, keeping her motionless on the bed, causing Mrs. Davis to lose consciousness for an entire night. I suddenly remembered Daniel's eyes that day. There was heartache mixed with lingering affection. It turned out he had saved me once again. Mrs. Davis's body began to rot at an alarming speed. Blood oozed from all over her, emitting a strong, foul odor. Aunt May finished dealing with the fish and then affixed a charm with strange patterns onto Mrs. Davis. Aunt May mumbled a few incantations that I didn't understand, causing Mrs. Davis immense pain, after which she collapsed and fainted. The police arrived when the stench in the house had not yet dissipated. No one believed a fish could cause such a thing. Therefore, we only reported that Mrs. Davis had gone mad. She could not successfully swap lives, but was charged with intentional bodily harm and had to go to prison. The law would make her face what she had caused. After everything concluded, I visited Daniel's grave. Thank you for protecting me, whether in the past or in the present. The photo on the tombstone was still his familiar smile, as if he had never left. On the way home from the cemetery, I saw a man carrying a large, heavy box. "Can I help you with that, sir?" I asked. But in the very next second I froze. Inside the box was a large, dark red fish.